Hey guys, Sam here from Ellie Rose Party Designs. In this video I'm going to be showing you guys how to make a blaze centerpiece. I think I might be going for a bigger one this time, so probably around 16 inches. So it'll be a bit different to my previous one that I did where I showed you how to make it from a letter size paper. Okay, this is for my little boy's birthday party, and he was going to go for a Paw Patrol theme, but then he really loves Blaze, so we decided we're going to do that instead. Okay, so I'm going to be showing you step by step how I actually make my centerpieces. Alright, so this is a two-part series. So the first part is the design process on how I design it and cut it, and then you'll get the actual another video on how I assemble and make my centerpieces. Okay, so the software that I am using is the Silhouette Studio software. I will link down below the video where you can actually download the software. The software is a free software that you can download. It does, I will be using the cutting machine, but like I said in previous videos, you don't need to have a cutting machine if you're wanting to use the software. Okay, you would just cut it by hand as opposed to the cutting machine, but I find it a lot easier using my cutting machine. Alright, let's get started. So first things first is that we need to get our images that we're going to be using. What I would normally do is to transfer them into my library, which you can find on the top right hand corner here. You click onto it, that, and then if I didn't have a folder, I would right click new and scroll down, it's at the bottom, and type Blaze. Okay. And then what I would do is I found my clip art, which is right over here. These are all the clip arts that I have collected. And you see how it says they move, and I just right click, drag it into my library. Now the other thing you can do too is go straight into your design area and grab the image you want and take it straight in there. So you can see this is quite a big file. So let's just bring that right down. Okay, so you would either do that or you would go into your library and double click onto it, and it will come in like that too, but it will just open up into a new tab. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is I want to make this image fairly big. I want quite a big centerpiece. Now because it's quite long in the landscape area, it's probably going to be, at the moment it's already 12 inches. Now I just want to change my paper. So this is just a standard either A4 or letter size paper. I want to change that to an A3 size because my printer can actually print on A3, which is this one. Yeah. I'm not too sure what the dimensions are for an A3. I think it's 11 inches by 17 inches. Okay. And then I'm going to rotate that around like so. And I'm going to make this as big as I can, as long as it stays within the red square. Okay, about there. So if you have a look at 16 inches. Alright, so that is how big my centerpiece is going to go, but height-wise it's only going to be 11 inches. Okay, but so it's still going to be quite long in that direction. Okay, so that is my centerpiece. Now, I need to cut out, because at the end of the day my cutting machine is going to cut around the actual image, and if you don't get rid of this white box around the image, it's actually going to cut around the box as opposed to around the image. So in order to do that, we then just make sure you click onto your image. We're then going to go over here where it says open to trace panel, and we're going to select trace area, and you're going to drag and you're going to cover the entire image like so, and release. And you see how it's all completely yellow. We want to make sure that the whole outer part of the image, not so much the inner part, but the outer part of your image is completely covered in yellow. So I'm going to take the threshold and I'm going to move it all the way up until it is completely covered like there. Now I reckon if I go up to 100 it's going to be jaggedy. Yeah, you see how it's jaggedy? You don't want that because that's how it's going to cut out. It's actually going to cut out those jagged edges, which you don't want. So you want to make sure that it is smooth as possible. So I think that will do. Okay, once you're happy with that, you're then going to hit trace and detach and watch what happens. Just takes a few seconds. There we go. Now we're going to drag our image off, and there we go. It's completely taken off the yellow, sorry, the white part around your image, and then you're just going to drag and highlight all of that, including all of this garbage here, and hit delete. Okay, now once again drag over and make sure there's no more pieces on there, which there isn't, because if there was pieces in there, your cutting machine will actually recognize those little pieces and cut them out. So make sure that you have a completely blank canvas before you pop your image back on. Okay, so now you can just go ahead and cut your image, but I always like to have it offset on my image. It just makes the clip art stand out a lot more. Okay, in order to do that is you just click onto your image and then you go on the top here and you click onto offset. Okay, and then I like to bring that to about a, oops, what did I do? Sorry. Right there. Okay. In fact, let's make that 100. Okay, there we go. And then I want to change the color to white. Alright. Now, because I'll be printing on white paper, you don't really necessarily need to change the color to white because you will be printing it on white paper anyhow. Okay, so I wouldn't stress, but in case you wanted like a black background, something like that, then you would add a different color to it, but I like to just see where I'm going. So now you can just go ahead and keep the lines red because those are your cutting lines, so that's the way your cutting machine is going to cut. Or if you're not cutting it and if you're not going to be using a cutting machine, you're going to cut it by hand, you would just go over here and change the color to say black. And then you know exactly where your cutting line is, or for your hand scissors, and you would just cut it out like that if you wanted to. Okay, but we want to change that to I'll just hit back. Okay, the next thing you would do is you would make sure if you take your image and you drag it across, you see how it's not grouped together. You want to make sure that your image is grouped together because it makes it a lot more easier. So all you need to do is to highlight the whole image, including the offset, and you're going to go over here and you're going to click group. Now it is one piece. Okay, and then you are good to go. Then you just go ahead and you would print it out. So I would just go file and I would go page setup first because I need to make sure that it is A3 plus. Hit OK, and I'll go back here and then I'll hit print. And then I normally like to make sure that my preferences are the best photo, and hit OK. And then I use an Epson Artesian 1430 series, and that prints out on a 3 plus paper. And then I'm just going to hit print. Alrighty, so I will be back once I have printed it out and I'll show you how to cut it. Alright guys, we are back. I have printed out my image. As you can see, you can't actually even see the offset. So if you did actually have those black lines, you would see black lines around your image, but because we're going to be cutting this out, I don't have the black lines. Okay, one thing I forgot to mention earlier is that I don't print out or I don't add registration marks. So the registration marks is what helps your cutting machine recognize where it cuts. But I find if you put your cutting machine, if you put your image on your cutting mat exactly the same as what it shows on the screen, more than likely it will be fine. And it's just a standard cut. It's not very detailed cutting out, so I find that it actually works fine without it, so I save ink by doing that. Okay, so I have got my very long, I think it's 12 inches by 24 inch mat,
Yes, 12-inch width. And I'm just going to pop my image, which is an A3 image, on exactly where it needs to go, like so. Now my cutting mat is not as sticky as it used to be, so I have to add just some tape on it to help it stick so that it doesn't pull away when it's cutting. I do need to get myself a new mat, but I will do that at another stage. Okay, so for those of you that have never seen a cutting machine before, this is my Silhouette Cameo cutting machine. It's an older version. The newer version has more of a touch screen on the right hand side over here. Okay, so all we're going to do is we're going to open it up, and we are going to find the lines, and we're going to hit load cutting mat. Okay, so once we've loaded that up, we're going to go back to our screen and we're going to hit cut there. Okay, so bear with me and we will do that part.
So all we need to do now is to send the instructions to the cutting machine to cut it. But like I said, if you don't have a cutting machine, you would just ignore this part of it. Okay, so all I would do is hit send. You would probably find that it will be on no cut. Make sure that you actually clicked on the image and you click onto cut edge. I leave it as cardstock because that's the material I'm using, and I've got it set on 3. Everything else is correct, and we're now going to hit send. Alright, and I will be back.
I like to hold it only because it's not sticky, but you would normally hold your image. Alright, and that is how quick it takes just to cut your actual image. So I'm just going to hit unload, and there we go. And then if you have a look here, just go further out. I then just pull my image off, and there we go. Look how quick and easy that was, and it was done in a matter of seconds, you could say. So I'm going to go ahead now and do the second part of this, which is the reverse side, which I'll show you how I do it on the screen, but I won't show you the printing side of it because you kind of get where I'm going at with this. Okay, so let's go back to the screen and I will show you how to do your reverse image.
Okay, so now if you're wanting to do a reverse side image, or you want to do a double-sided centerpiece, all you would need to do is take an image, you right click and you flip vertically. Oh, no, let's do that again. It will be vertically like that. Okay, so now you obviously want to make sure that you reverse the image so that it joins together when you actually do your centerpieces. Okay, one thing I also wanted to mention before was this little yellow triangle someone asked me once before. You could clearly see by my printed image that the quality was perfect, so I wouldn't worry too much about that. If you want to know if it is a problem, if you just zoom in, you can see if it is distorted and pixelated, okay, which it's not, so then you know that it is still a pretty good image to use. Okay, so All I'm going to do then is I'm going to print this out. So we go File, Print Setup, make sure it is A3. Yours will probably be letter size or A4. Hit OK. I would then also go to Print, Preferences and Best Photo. Hit OK, and then now I'm just going to hit Print. While it's printing, I will see you in the next video where I show you how to assemble your actual centerpiece. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.